Well, Hunter, what's the moral of the story today?
Just keep pounding water.
Don't drive so far away from camp.
Nope.
So we went for a run today, check out some new water, which is fine, and that easily could have worked. Bluebird skies, tough conditions, maybe not the best day to go wandering around. We came to a spot that Hunter and I both know well, and very similar to a day I had with my friend John and Leanne. Nothing happened all day, and then this last 45 minutes we got 4 fish moving, plus you had one off the deep edge of the weeds. So sometimes it's like, what do you do, right? You just gotta keep pounding and hope that the damn thing's gonna bite when it's supposed to. I don't even know. Moon just shook her head and tossed the minnow out and picked it up again.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Still got it in her mouth there. Oh, there's one. Well, like a 40.
Huh.
Holy. We've seen one.
No.
I know it was one. I could tell.
No way.
Yeah.
Starting point.
Yeah. In the lake. In the lake.
Not bad, then.
No, the other one was like 40.
They coming in interested at all?
They come up quick, so they're coming from deep water. They're coming up, looking at it.
We're hanging out in that 16 to 19, casting up to shallower rocks.
Yeah, they must be sitting just on that edge because they're coming up at the base.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're clearly coming up towards it. Oh, there's...
Oh, yeah.
Interested and then straight off.
That's the same fish or a different one?
That was the same one.
Not a bad fish.
No, like 43 maybe? 44?
Yeah, 43, 44.
Pretty comfy right there.
Fucking they don't.
Yeah, it was a little more interested that time. I brought it around the front of the boat. I was going to take a run at it because it actually looked like it had that attitude, you know, where they
sometimes will charge.
Charge like that too.
Nice fish too. Took us all day.
Testing. Do we still know how to catch muskies, Hunter?
I have no idea.
It would seem that we don't, because it took all day and then some. But we knew, flat calm and bluebird skies, that it probably wasn't going to be the most amazing day. And we're on that moon set. We got sunrise right behind us. We're starting to get a little discouraged, but we've been hitting pretty much weeds, eh, Hunter?
Pretty much weeds the whole day.
Yeah, Hunter's just kind of tending to the fish, making sure it's okay there. It got wrapped up right at the boat on a Suick. And I kind of made the audible. I'm like, hey, Hunter, let's go check out this spot here. And he's like, well, we might as well go hit some rocks because we've been hitting mostly weeds. We come out here and it didn't take too long. Hunter had a bath there with the fish thrashing. But it didn't take too long, and I moved a fish out with the Suick, about a 42-ish. And then we moved, raised another one, kind of thought it was 43, 44. And then we're working way out off of the structure here where it kind of drops down to the main basin, right?
Yep.
And this one hit way out from the boat. Hunter said, looks like a nice fish. I think it's pretty nice. I don't know that it's quite mid-40s, but it's pretty close.
It's on the low end of the 40s.
Yeah, so nice fish. So I'll give Hunter the camera. I'll show you guys the lure. It's going to be a show season color Suick for next year. And I'll show you guys what I did to kind of modify it. Just, I think it's safer for the fish. And I know my buddy Kyle Fregis, he mods his Suicks the same way. You'll see some of that stuff on his channel, but here, I'll hand it off to Hunter. All right, so this is gonna be a show color Suick, gold with some red on it. And I moved the hooks. So what I did is I moved the back hook forward a bit. I took the middle hook out. It's a weighted Suick, and I added an extra weight. And then I just put a little dress tail on there, and it just gives it a little bit of pop in the water, right, Hunter?
Yep. So adds a little bit more to it.
Yeah, it just gives it a little bit more. She does have a few marks on her because she kind of wrapped herself up there. Yeah, it's like 42-ish.
Yeah, 42, 43, somewhere in there. Nice, healthy fish.
Yeah, nice fish. All right, we'll get her back here right away just because she was a bit stressed because she wrapped up coming in. Oh, it looks like she's good to go. Well, Hunter, it was looking pretty grim there for a while, but let's finish this spot off. This is I talked about it when you and I fished together last week, looking for complex spots. And this is about as complex of a spot in this basin as you're going to find. Other than there's not a lot of weeds here, but there's
you got shallow rocks, you got troughs, you got bars, you got single nuggets all the way out here by itself.
Pretty much got everything. And I'll break it down. I'm not going to draw out the island per se, because that's actually the least interesting spot of the whole thing. It's these long drawn out bars that run out into the main basin that when you come to a lake like Eagle, when you can find those huge bars that run out, this one runs almost 100 yards, I think.
Oh, I would say 100 yards.
You're looking for that, and then where it breaks down to the main basin. And most people would come here and fish tight to that structure. You suggested let's run out. That's what we did. The fish was sitting way out. So we'll finish this off and then we'll wrap up when we kind of get back to the dock there. First off, I just want to say this day was increasingly frustrating right from the get-go. It just got worse. We were trying good spots, trying different stuff, but we went in with a mindset of let's try some weeds. That just didn't work. And like you hear me say, we had to make an audible and kind of go for something different, which turned out to be like the right call. But you also see me in the video, I'm throwing a bucktail, partly because we were on some shallow rocks on the first side of this complex. But I just, in my head, as we got off of the complex out into that open water stuff, it just didn't feel like that was going to be the right lure. I needed something that was going to be a little bit of a slower presentation that the fish didn't have to chase. It took all of one cast to get a follow. When that happens, it's like, are we doing the wrong things, or did we make the right call, or is it just a matter of timing? Those are the questions we'll never know. But knowing how to make those calls while you're on the water, really for a lot of people, that's that little difference between, you know, failure and success. And for us, we easily could have went in without seeing a single fish all day. We actually turned it around. We come in with a really nice one. So that was cool. But it's always those decisions in the moment that can make or break a trip. Today's breakdown on the Little Tykes board is brought to you by my buddies Tony and Carl. I fished with them a few weeks ago, and they will appreciate the Suick bite because both those guys love fishing the Suicks. So like you hear Hunter and I talk about, it's a complex structure. It's got a lot going on for it. It's a little bit different than where Hunter and I got the fish a week or so back, but it's kind of hard to draw out because we're not really looking at the island complex itself. The island's cool, but it's pretty shallow around the island. There's times when the fish are sitting up there, and you hear me say that, you know, I was fishing the bucktail as we started, but we got to a point where it starts to open up out into open water. You don't see any of these rocks. These are all underwater at various depths from 4 feet, 5 feet. This one further out is probably down about 8 to 10 feet. But we're fishing, trying to keep the boat in those deeper edges, casting up just onto the shallows. So the very first spot where we kind of pick up the video, I cast up in there with that bucktail. I think I say something about the loons, playing around with some bait over here, and then I grab my rod with the Suick, and my next cast is basically to that exact same spot, and I'm like, here's one. And if I kept that bucktail on, would I move that fish? We'll never know, but that slower pop and dive and rise of that Suick brought that fish in, and we changed camera angles, and a little bit further down, about where we start to drop into some deeper structure, I get that second fish to follow up. It's actually a little bit more aggressive. It actually follows the Suick around the front of the boat, back around, and then it just darts off. And I believe I raised that fish twice right in that same area. I only see it once on video. And then a few casts later, and I let that segment run out. I cast a little bit further out. Now we're starting to get way on the outside edge of that structure. That fish hits way out. For us, the big takeaway here is working those outside edges. It would be real easy to just sit the boat in 16 feet and cast up to that shallows. That's what a lot of people do. We talk about it so much. You got to sit deeper and cast up to that transition first. If you don't see a fish there, you can always move up and try and cast right up on top of that. But you have to start out. And this video right here, we talk about it a lot. It's something we talk about so much on the channel, sitting out deep. But when you guys come up to Canada, look for these islands that have these long drawn out points on it. And on Google Earth, you can really zoom in on those islands. And in a lot of cases, you can see that rock structure or a shelf that runs out. Highlight those, take a picture on your phone, save it, go out on the lake, find those spots, and really try to map them out or learn them best you can, because the fact that Hunter and I know this spot really well obviously helped us on this day to keep ourselves away from the structure. But for a new fisherman coming up here, You can use your side imaging, you can even use your sonar, you can use your auto mapping. You don't need anything more than that to try and find structures like this. And the biggest piece of advice I can give you guys is just stay off of the structure first. Get up there, cast it. You can always go tighter. It's so hard if you start tight and you're sitting on top of fish. A lot of times you just chase those fish right off.
It was a tough day. It was a grind, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was. But you know what? We got one. So those days where you grind all day and you're like, this sucks. We are both getting down a bit, but we both know that those days happen.
That's musky fishing.
That's musky fishing. But we're going to go into camp and we're going to be smiling because we got one and move some. So it's like that whole day is erased on one fish, right?
Yeah.
And hunter guides every day out here. So he knows more than anyone that when you have clients or friends or guests and it's really tough, it only takes one bite, right?
Yeah. Takes one fish. One
fish makes the day. Check out the video over here where we got one fish and it salvaged a day. And for us, for tonight, let's get out of here. 54 buses out of here. I'll catch you guys out on the water later.